Hey, real quick before we start this video, a lot of you guys have been asking for team shirts. Finally, Autohaus has t-shirts, so it would really help out a lot if you supported the shop, got some merch, some shirts, stickers, support the media work, support me and my dog.
Check out that merch store so I don't starve you guys.
We have a Nissan S14 manual transmission right next to me. We just completed a customer rebuild. That includes full bearings, synchros, deburr, deep clean, deep cryogenic treat, all the deeps, plus WPC treating on a lot of the key components on this transmission. As you can see, the front cover's off. What are we missing? This is the countershaft front bearing shim. This is a select fit shim, and we'll show the process on how to choose which shim you need. But this controls the end play of the countershaft. So again, in our previous rebuild video, this prevents the countershaft from going back and forth. It's pretty much supposed to stay in one spot. This transmission was previously built by someone who was not very skilled. And so this shim was actually missing. What did that cause? So I'd say a big reason that this transmission needed another rebuild was because this front shim was missing. And to basically sum it up, the gears wore excessively because the countershaft was moving back and forth because this shim was missing. So I have a printed version of the service manual for this transmission in front of me. Why don't I show you guys how to measure to find out which size shim you need. So in short, we need to measure for clearance A to decide what size shim do we need. All right, so I'm gonna get my calipers. I'm gonna extend my calipers. And it's basically the outer race of that front counter bearing to the bell housing itself. So if we look, got 427 there. I'm gonna measure at different places so I can get myself like an average, and that'll let me know what size shim I need. So we'll measure in a few more places. So if we look in the service manual right here, 4.32 to 4.41, that is our allowable clearance A, and that correlates to we need a 0.2 millimeter shim, and then that's the part number, and luckily you can still get these from the Nissan dealer. I know the service manual says we need 0.2 millimeters. I'm actually going to go up one size shim, and I'll tell you guys why. So a lot of these older transmissions from, the 80s, 90s, there's a lot of slop between the cases. A lot of times I'm reusing majority of the gear sets. There's tolerance stack where there's these clearances from wear or what have you in the bell housing and the gear set, etc. This tolerance stacks up so that there's additional play inside the transmission. So it's always served me well to pretty much go one size up. So in this instance, I'm going to use the 0.3 millimeter shim. But let's say you're building like a modern transmission, from the 2000s or 2020, then in that instance I would probably go with the factory clearance spec because the transmission is just that new. I got my front cover I'm ready to put on. You're gonna be very upset if you forget that front seal. I have my shim, so a secret, right? If I put this on the front bearing, it's gonna do that. So how do I make sure this stays on the front bearing when I install the front cover? If you look, there's a ridge right here. This shim lives in this ridge. What I'm gonna do, this same grease, I'm just gonna put a hair of grease right there, and when I put this shim on, it should stay stuck. So when I install this thing, the shim should not fall out like that. So that's how you measure for the front counterbearing shim on a S chassis transmission. This transmission is actually going to go in a street car that also does track days, so I'm really excited for that. This transmission should run cooler, quieter, shifts tons smoother than probably any other S chassis transmission you've ever driven, and also hold up to the track abuse. So I'm really excited. I'm sure the owner's going to be absolutely pumped when he gets to use this transmission on his first track day also. Thank you guys for watching. A lot of you guys seem to be interested in these S chassis transmission rebuilds. I'm guessing a lot of people don't build these. If there's any particular topic on these transmissions you want me to cover, please let me know in the comments below. Appreciate all the support, you guys. Catch you guys next time.